Hi, I'm Antonia Kihara, and I've spent the last 20 years creating new products and services and building what I think are powerful brands. I think brands have a big impact on our local cultures and economies. And I think great brands are really connected to owners and individuals who have a great purpose and a great passion for what it is that they came to do in the world. And I've always approached my strategy from that perspective, working with individuals to help them achieve their dreams. In this course, I'm really excited to go through the things that I believe create a good brand and a strong brand and a sustainable brand. So I'll be taking you through what I think are the most important elements. The first one is having a vision and being able to see where it is that you want to go for yourself. And the second one is being able to identify your purpose, because I believe that everybody came for a unique purpose. The third one is about positioning your brand and how this vision and purpose comes out in how you position yourself in the market. And then we will talk about getting organized and all the different facets of the sort of nuts and bolts that you need to think about in having a strong brand, because it's not all about just the intangible assets. And then we'll talk about communicating your brand and telling an authentic story and expressing your brand, how you do that. And then finally, we'll be talking about communication and marketing and how to express your brand. And then we'll end with flow, which is all about how to maintain your strategy on a day-to-day basis. We're all made in the image of God, and we all know that God is a magnificent creator. We just have to look at the earth around us to just see the creativity. And I believe that all of us are made in God's image in that way, that we're here to create. And just like God, if you were to sort of look at the Bible and how he had, the 7 days of creation, first it was in the mind. And I feel like the strong brands that exist have always started from a clear picture within the person who's been called to create this business/brand. So to be able to, the first step in being able to have a powerful, sustainable business is having a powerful vision for it. You need to be able to see every single detail about what it is that you want to create. You need to be able to visualize what it looks like when you're successful, and not just see it visually, but also have clarity on how you feel in that space, how you feel doing what you're doing, what the environment is like, what the people are like, what your day-to-day life is like. Another quality about strong brands and entrepreneurs is that they have a belief that they're here for a purpose. They do not believe that they're here to just go to work and earn money. And I think that's also what makes successful brands, is that the owners are here for a bigger purpose and a bigger vision. So to be successful, I think the first thing is you've got to really believe that whatever it is that you're doing, that you're meant to be doing it, that you have the right to be doing it, that the universe has the space to accommodate you doing it. If you believe that you're not going to succeed and it's not possible, then you're just not going to have a strong brand to begin with. So having the vision in your mind first really clearly, having the belief that it can work, having the belief that you're meant to be here to do that thing, I think is also one of the things that makes successful brands and successful entrepreneurs. Having the faith about your entrepreneurial journey is a spiritual journey, and you'll need to have that belief continuously as you go along, because there will be challenges and obstacles. And successful entrepreneurs are the ones that use their faith and belief to overcome when things get tough. So the next chapter is about purpose. I strongly believe that every single person came here with a purpose, with a calling. I don't think that we came here to go to school, go to work, get a job and pay the bills. But that narrative has been sold so strongly that it seems like a luxury to actually follow your heart. But I believe that the strong brands that do exist are the ones that do follow their hearts. So People often say they're not quite sure what their purpose is. How do they find their purpose? And I just would like to talk about a few things that might be able to get you in touch with why you're actually here. A lot of people also ask, how do they find their purpose? They're not quite sure of their purpose. And I think I'd like to sort of just give a few pointers from my experience on how people can find their purpose and be clear about their purpose, because that's the first point. So everybody has a deep desire to express who they are. And that can sometimes get squashed through school and environment and society. But when you think about what you would like to do with yourself, where your mind wanders, what you like to do with your hands, what you like to talk about, the things that get you curious, the things that get you wound up, the things that you're passionate about, all of those things sort of kind of start to give a picture of where your purpose lies. On top of that, I think that God has a way of giving us experiences that really help define our purpose. I think it's a co-created journey with God. I don't think we're born knowing. I think what happens is we have these experiences along the way that kind of define and refine what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we came here to do. Actually, we start to begin to be aware of our purpose as children, and we are curious about certain things, and we're passionate about certain things. And you can tell you're in purpose when you're driven to do something regardless of how much money it pays you, regardless of how difficult it could be. There is a commitment and a determination in your soul to kind of find or express this thing that you're really passionate about. And there are many defining life moments that also prepare you for that. So it's a co-creation with God. So, you've got your desires and your curiosity or whatever, and then bang, something happens. Like your father loses his job or something, and you have to move to a crazy place or something. And in that whole experience, you're opened up to a whole new world of desires and passions and concerns. So, it's a sort of co-created journey to finding your purpose, and life has a way of helping you define it. So what I would do is just really spend some time thinking about, where your motivations lie, the things that really changed the way that you thought or how you felt about the world. Because the more passionately and deeply you can feel about your purpose, the more you'll be aligned with who you are, but also the stronger your expression of this purpose will be. The next chapter is going to be about positioning, which is a big factor in creating your brand, and every brand strategy needs to have clarity around your positioning in the market. So positioning is really basically how you are seen in the market, how you're perceived in the market, and the space in which you occupy in the market. And having worked with a lot of businesses, there's a lot of emphasis on it. But, what I've always thought is, instead of thinking about the market and how you can stand out in the market and how you can position yourself in the market, I think really finding your blue ocean, really finding your unique edge has got to do with positioning yourself as yourself. So really what I've come to believe is that the best way to position is not to position. Because when you start to position too much, you start to sort of want to mimic other brands, and look outside of yourself for, validation, what you should be, what you shouldn't be. So I think that, if you want to stand out, the most important or the most powerful strategic way of going about it is being absolutely 100% yourself. And that means all the good things and all the bad things, because they're all actually necessary for who it is you want to be, or whatever your business is going to be in the market. In marketing, there's and as an innovation consultant, my job was to help brands find what they call the blue ocean. So there's a concept that in the marketplace, there's like the red ocean, which is where everybody's competing, products are similar, it's competitive, and it's also packed. And the blue ocean is the space that everyone wants to look for, which is unique, not a lot of competition, you stand out. The red ocean is called the red ocean because it's a bloodbath. Everybody's there. Everybody's doing the same thing, right? So let's say I'm selling bread and there's like 100 bread brands. How do I come into the bread market with something different? How do I carve out a space for myself? And if I was to come out with a gluten-free bread, for example, that had herbs and a different manufacturing process, then what would happen, well, the ideal situation is on the shelf you'd have all the breads and then you'd have this unique bread, which would be in the blue ocean. The biggest example when people talk about it is water, bottled water. That was something that most people didn't think would ever exist because we get water from the tap. And it was a completely new market to have bottled water. A lot of strong brands succeed because they're the first or the second or the third in the market, and basically what they've done for themselves is create a new market rather than compete in existing markets. So the blue ocean is about creating your own market and not competing in the bloodbath red ocean of similar products and services. The truth of the matter is that there's absolutely nothing new in the world. Everything has been done before. Things just get revamped. So, trying to be unique is also a very hard thing. And that's why I think being able to bring all your life experiences and all the things that are only unique to you is what will give you the red ocean unique factor. It's about doing what has always been happening or what people have always been doing, but bringing your whole self wholeheartedly to it so that it's uniquely yours. And that way, you don't have any competition. So basically what I'm saying is the best way to beat the competition is by being uniquely yourself, because nobody else can be you. What's unique about you could be, and this is still going on about positioning, but what's unique about you is where you're from, your age, your life experiences, your parents' relationships, your friends, your teachers at school, what you watched growing up, your pain, your passion, your joy, your perspective, your way of doing things, People do a lot of the same things, but maybe you do it slower, maybe you do it faster. How can you look at what you do and completely make it authentically you? How can you bring all of yourself to whatever it is that you're doing? And this is good and bad. Everything is an asset. Everything about you is an asset. And once you understand that, I think that's when you'll start being able to develop a strong brand. And a strong brand is really one that just connects with people. So the more authentic you are, the easier it is for you to also find your audience who also believe what you believe and love everything about you that's unique. I think the worst thing that we can do in trying to create a strong brand is, one, ask how we can be like somebody else. That's the beginning of failure. Two, copy somebody else. That's also another way of being in the red ocean and not having a sticky brand, which is what we want. When you have a really strong brand and you're able to define it and you're in flow, then the energy itself creates the brand for you. So it's really important how you start, the vision that you have for it, that you're aligned to your heart, that you're aligned to your purpose, and that you don't compromise on bringing your unique self 100% into the entire business. That's how you get a following, literally, the categories. So great brands really I think people connect to authenticity, they connect to originality, they connect to passion. And the more unique you are, the more yourself you are, that is definitely going to shine through your brand and people will feel it. There are very many ways that you can bring your whole unique self to your brand and your business, because we're assuming that you're not the only one doing this business. No one can know yourself better than you, and you need to be able to know what your strong points are. And again, the way to sort of figure that out is just by following your heart. What is it that gives you passion? What makes you unique is very nuanced. It's difficult to tell from person to person how you can bring your own unique self to your brand. It could be the way you speak. It could be your language. It could be the pictures that you have in your mind. It could be your process. It's your style. It's your way. It's your tempo, it's your rhythm, it's the little things, it's the intangible things that actually can't be copied. And this is what will make you a unique brand. So depending on your personality, you can kind of just bring out whatever it is that you feel passionate to bring out. I don't think that I can say that there are any rules for you being you. But depending on your personality, there are many ways that your soul expression should come out in the business and in the product or service, in whatever it is that you're offering to people. The offering and how you offer it is what's going to make it unique. So process again, language, environment. When you look at all your brand touch points, so everything that your consumers might touch, see, feel is a point of expression. And it's a point where you can bring your own unique self to the product or service. So the next chapter is about strategy. And strategy is basically a plan. I like to use the husband and the 5 wives as a way to help you write down your plan. And that basically is defining what you're doing, where you're doing it, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and how you're doing it. It's important to have the vision clear in your mind, but it's even more important to be able to write it down so that you can describe it to your business partners, to your staff, to your people, to everybody in the ecosystem needs to be clear about what it is that you're trying to achieve, but most importantly, yourself. So write it down, and if you can, have an accountability partner to be able to walk with you through the journey, making sure that you're sticking to your plan. Once you get into business, it's very easy to change course when you hit obstacles and when things get tough. But the greatest brands are the ones that really are undeterred in their purpose and go the long haul regardless of all the obstacles and things that might come in the way. As I've grown older, I think it's also important to diversify your revenue streams, because if you don't have a sustainable business financially, then it can get really tough. So I would recommend designing whatever it is that your purpose is, to be able to sort of divide it into 2 parts. One part is what I call a bread and butter product, and this can be something that gives you revenue whether you're there or not. As an entrepreneur, it can be really hard to manage everything because you're everything, especially if you're a startup. And you know, there's a tendency for entrepreneurs to keep going around in a loop of just working very, very hard. So I've recently really feel strongly that it's important to have a product or service that can sell whether you're there or not, whether you're asleep or not. And we are in the age of technology, and I think it's also important for us to use technology. So if you can use technology in your strategy, I would highly recommend it. In 2020, there's no way that you should have a strategy that doesn't involve a digital strategy. Having said that, great brands are still connected to people. So I think it's important to have a strategy that's online and offline as well. One doesn't negate the other. So write it down, share it with people, have some accountability partners, have a digital plan, and make sure you have a bread and butter product that can earn you money whether you're working on it or not. So the next chapter is about your marketing strategy and communicating your brand. It's important to have a marketing strategy, but I think it's even more important to follow your heart. And how I would approach writing a marketing strategy is thinking about the activities that you enjoy personally. I wouldn't force, a plan that's rigid. I would recommend more that you follow your heart when it comes to your marketing strategy. And you can tell by, how you wake up in the morning and what it is that you want to do. Ideas will flow through your mind about events or pieces of communication that you can put out there. But they really need to be inspired by your soul, by your spirit, by your purpose. If you do that, then your marketing strategies will be unique. It's not about having a flyer like somebody else or a website like somebody else. It's about telling your authentic story. So, telling a story it's a never-ending story. There's so many facets to your story. There's the beginning, the middle, the end. There's all the nuances about your purpose. The best way to approach marketing is to think about your purpose and why you're here, and to just continuously have engagement around it. In other words, continuously share your why, share why you're doing what you're doing, how you're doing it, share your process, share your challenges, share your future plans. Think of marketing as a conversation with your consumers, and think about continuously engaging them, just sort of like how you'd have a relationship with somebody. You sort of constantly talking to them and building on that relationship. And so I would think about marketing as that, telling a story, having a conversation, and it manifesting in different ways: your website, your flyer, events. Marketing shouldn't be a stressful activity. It should be an inspired activity. The best marketing initiatives are the ones that come from inspiration, a moment of inspiration. Oh my gosh, I think I want to do this. I think I want to tell this story. And it should be connected to your purpose. So it's storytelling, engaging in conversation, and making it authentically you as you do it. Great brands, I like to think of great brands as movements. They create a culture, and the people that follow them because they believe what the brand stands for. So marketing should be something that you do every day. Every day you should be communicating about your purpose, about your story, telling your story in different ways. And the impact of that is that people will get to trust you. And that's really important in building a strong brand, that you're consistent. So people will begin to trust you, that you're there, you're not going anywhere. But they'll also begin to understand why they should buy your products over other people's products, or why they like your products over other people's products. So you need to explain this to them. And you need to, the more that you can come from the heart, the more powerful the impact will be. So it's not so much about how much money you put behind your digital advertising or whatever, or how many billboards you have. It's about how authentic your storytelling is that will create the most power. The impact obviously is a wider audience, a growing audience, which should really translate into more business, which should translate into a successful brand that's stable, has consistent revenue, has a consistent audience, a ready and available and loyal audience. And all of this will be created by how seriously you take your expression and your storytelling, how consistently you are. It doesn't need to actually cost a lot of money sometimes. So sometimes just like blogging online can really help your customers connect to why you exist and what it is that you have to offer. So a brand is not a logo. It's not your colors. It's not your, it's not all of the obvious things. I think strong brands are really driven by the intangible things. And I actually think that your logo and identities and things can change over time as you change. The best way to package yourself is by remaining true to yourself. And you are also going to go through changes in life. just general life experiences that will impact whatever it is that you are bringing to the table. I would say allow that to happen, allow that to flow, allow the natural changes to come because they're part of your brand story. The best way to package your brand is by remaining authentic. I think the more unfiltered, the more authentic, the less packaged you can be, I think the more successful your brand will be. The most powerful thing that you can do for your marketing is to keep going back to who you are, your unique expression, your unique qualities. The more yourself you are in your communication, in your language, in all touch points of your brand expression, the more powerful, memorable, sticky your brand will be. We're hardwired to notice what's different. So for example, if there was 30 sheep sitting around me and they were all yellow and one was red, we would notice the red one. So how do you stand out? By being completely yourself and then just giving it all the power you've got in sort of making it a really full expression, a really heartfelt, vulnerable expression of who you truly are. I can't emphasize enough how the worst thing you can do to have a strong brand is to try and be like somebody else or try and execute your idea like somebody else. If you're thinking about executing an idea that you've seen out there, then you're probably not in purpose, and you're probably not going to have a successful brand. Really, the most successful brands are those that are driven from such a unique and personal standing point or origination point that they can never be copied. And that's really what makes a strong brand. I don't think we should work hard to grow brands. I don't think that great brands are all about hard work. I actually think great brands are about great passion. And when you're really passionate, you won't mind doing the hard work. I think great brands also involve the entrepreneur being able to evolve as a person. I think the idea of taking over the world and having this massive scale and being the biggest is a really like old-fashioned idea of what a great brand is. A great brand could be a little coffee shop that has 3 chairs and serves people and makes people happy every single day, and is just remembered and loved by its audience. And I think what we really should be striving for is internal, personal fulfillment in our daily lives, first and foremost. Making money is a symptom of being driven, of being committed, of bringing your best self to the world. I think when you do that, the money will automatically follow. And I think we need to be patient as well with gaining that financial success. But if we're on purpose and we're quite clear about what we're doing and we're fulfilled on the inside, then really you've already won. And I think every single day on earth is precious, and being on brand every single day, expressing who you are every single day, I think already makes you successful. What makes a successful brand is a combination of all the things that I've spoken about, but I'd like to leave you with some few tips that I think are the key takeouts from when you're Harry's thinking. The first is just follow your heart. Don't forget to follow your heart. You should not consider your society. You should not be held back by the beliefs of your society and the people around you, your family, your friends. Purpose is a very personal thing, and you don't need the approval of anybody. The more you can get over that, needing the approval of other people, the more you can get over looking at the market and trying to figure out what the market wants, and the more you can bring what you want to bring to the world, I think the more success you'll have in the brand. The other thing is stick with it. It's going to be rough, it's going to be tough, but this is why passion and purpose is really important, because it should be something that you're so driven by that all the challenges and difficulties will, become part of your development as opposed to a problem. So stick with what you've decided to do. From all the entrepreneurs that I've worked with, I've seen the people that have stuck with their purpose and their passion are the people that have won in the end. Be you, don't apologize. When in doubt, be more you. Be open to flow, because life is random, and I think, there's lots of gems and blessings in the unexpected serendipities, synchronicities. Be open, be aware, be present, and mostly enjoy your life. I think we've got to remember that business isn't so much about making money as much as it is about giving your life meaning. And I think the more meaning you have in your life as the entrepreneur and doing what you do, the more meaning and value you'll add to that of all your stakeholders, your staff, your customers, your board. That's where the magic is.